This is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 30. Also, the Carminians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Shalom laha alahayim, peace to the gods. Nawathan kal halalimla, Yahweh bahasham, Yahweh Shai bahasham, Racha hakodash, giving all praises to Yahweh, in the name Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors unto the elder apostles, elder bishops, and the heads and elders of all the camps of Great Millstone GMS who do well. Peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the Bayath, the Dawada, the house of David, the predestined spirits of election scattered abroad. This is your brother Tazapania of the Great Millstone, Washington, D.C. camp, Ottawa, Ratazah. Lord willing, this spiritual commentary is edifying to the elect. So as you can see here on Redacted, all right, came out 38 minutes ago. It says, war with Iran will unalive thousands of Americans and the U.S. will lose. Now I'm going to update that biblically. Okay, war with Iran is actually going to unalive everybody in America, and of course the U.S. will lose. And why do I say that? Because the climax of this war is going to be the war to end all wars. Okay, and it's going to be a nuclear holocaust. It's going to be used, or should I say ended, with hypersonic, multiple nuclear warhead, intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right, and Iran is going to use theirs, as well as every nation on the planet Earth, okay, to help Russia destroy America, which is ultimately the full agenda of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, pursuant to Ezekiel 38, with the Lord putting his hooks into the jaws of the Russians, Gog from the land of Magog, all right, which is symbolic for having total control, all right, of the Russian army, so to speak, through right now Putin, Vladimir Putin, okay, to get prophecy moving swiftly. Okay, so we're gonna let this play. We're gonna get some scriptures, and the reason why I started out with that second Esdras 15 scripture is because the Carminians is another term. When you Google it, you look it up, for the Persians or the modern day Iranians. Okay, so that goes into Ezekiel 38 on one of the many nations that is going to be defended by Gog, all right, which are your Russians, okay, because of, various, social, political, economic ties, okay, Persia being the first country named in Ezekiel 38, all right, and this is going to be a fulfillment of prophecy eventually, okay, when the Iranians really get the battery in their back, as Jake would say, fully energized to put in work, all right, according to the Lord's will. The scriptures say in Proverbs that the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and as a river he turneth it whithersoever he will. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to let this play and get some more understanding.
Is that neocons are pushing President Trump into a war with Iran. Former UK Ambassador Richard Dalton said this morning that the threat of war with Iran has never been higher. Watch.
How seriously do you take this from President Trump?
I do take it seriously. The risk of a war between Israel and the United States on the one hand and Iran on the other has never been higher. And that's because it's been Israel's aim for many years to strike Iran, and they've always wanted to attract the United States to their side to do it because of...
So, oh my goodness, right? it's like we keep bringing this out. I keep bringing this out. The Spirit really uses us as a vessel to bring this out because this is the gospel. This is the good news. All right. Good news unto some is bad news unto others, as Elder Apostle Gabar loved to bring out. Okay. So in Jeremiah, what is that? 51, right? See if we can find it real quick. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Salakia. Salakia. Bear with me real quick. I'm in the sword right now looking for the exact precept. Okay. Nations mad, healed, righteousness, standard, caterpillars, made earth, strong knowledge, vanity to portion, weapons of war, breaking to pieces. All right. Let's see here. Against the land. Born for, born to fight. Salakia. Dragons, Salakia. Bring down. Let's see. Swallow. Violence, rumor. So, right. Wow. Hold on real quick. Salaki, I gotta get this precept. The least of the flock shall draw them out. I don't know why it's losing me right now. Salakia. That's crazy. Hold on. Let me go into the concordance. Flock. Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 50. That's why I'm in Jeremiah 51. And it was in Jeremiah 50 and it's in Jeremiah 49. Salakia for that taking so long. You know, Jake has a short attention span. This is Jeremiah 50, right? In verse I just had it. Jeremiah 50 and verse 45. Salakia for that. Hakim. Abu Kushar. This is Jeremiah 50 and verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Babylon and his purposes. So this is the will, the plans, okay, of Yahweh, right? That is against, it's going to be a judgment against Babylon. Babylon, this is not the ancient Babylon, okay? This is the modern day Babylon because there was no lease of the flock. There was no destruction of Babylon as it's speaking about in this prophecy. So we know this is a spiritual Babylon. This is why in Revelation it says mystery Babylon, and only those that have been given the understanding from on high have a realization of who or what, all right, this Babylon is, or should I say where this Babylon is, which is America. It says, and his purposes, that he hath purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Okay, the basically the warlocks, the witches, the prognosticators, the elite class, the land of the elite class, which is here in the land of the north, pursuant to Isaiah 14. All right, talking about Lucifer, which is a title, okay, that is Latin for light bearer, okay, on the left hand side, which would be your international banking families, okay, your Amalekites specifically, okay, and there's actually more small hats in America than there is in that so-called land, all right, of your, you wish you was us people over there in West Asia, showing you that Isaiah 14 talking about shall sit in the sides of the north is talking about America, North America. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. The least of the flock is the Amalekites, all right? They are very small in number, okay? It says, he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So the Lord is going to destroy fully this place. All right, so let's hear this guy again. Watch this.
War between Israel and the United States on the one hand and Iran on the other has never been higher. And that's because it's been Israel's aim for many years to strike Iran, and they've always wanted to attract the United States to their side to do it because of limitations in Israel's capabilities, particularly in sustaining a long war. This is chiefly about weakening Iran as a state. Iran.
Yeah. So doing Israel's bidding. That's why Benjamin Netanyahu was in Washington yesterday. Neocons would love nothing more than carrying out Netanyahu's fantasy of destroying Iran. Well, Trump may have just thrown a monkey wrench into those neocon plans. Just yesterday, Iran was, of course, brushing off the idea of sitting down with the United States, saying direct talks were basically pointless because, according to them, Washington can't go 5 minutes without some sort of a threat of military action, which is actually true. We like to do that. But then fast forward to today, and then suddenly the script is totally flipped. And just wait until you see Netanyahu's reaction. It's priceless. On Monday, Donald Trump dropped a surprise announcement that high-level U.S. officials will be meeting directly with Iranian leaders this coming weekend. And they've actually, Iran confirmed this and actually released the date and time of where this was going to happen. Not through a proxy, not through Israel, but directly talking to Iran. He made it clear that the nuclear issue is still front and center, saying flat out that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, even though Trump's own intelligence community says that Iran's not developing a nuclear weapon, and Tulsi Gabbard in front of Congress confirmed that on the record.
And Barack Obama spent 8 years trying to prove it and never did.
Never could.
But sanctioned them to within an inch of their.
So the reason why they trying to push in the fake news, right, that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon, which through the spirit, spiritual speculation, they already do. All right. Whether if it's not fully assembled, they have all of the ingredients, the tools to put one together in 15 minutes or less if they really needed to. But they showed a video of their underground bunkers in their mountains out there. Iran is a big ass country, all right, with mountain ranges and everything. And basically they're letting the world know we got them already. But yet in the Western media, they're trying to say, oh, we got to stop them from building one. And why is that? It's because they don't want the Amalekites out there in the land of Canaan, to be basically wiped off the map, okay? Because that is part of their country's MO, all right? DTA and DTI, all right? And you should be able to put that, those acronyms, right, together. So and that's from Iran. All right. So with that being said, right, that when the scriptures talks about the least of the flock, which we already proved that it's Amalek, those people in a little sliver of the land in the Levant region. All right, they're trying to ally and get the monetary help and the military help from Babylon, because this whole chapter 50 in Jeremiah talks about Babylon. Babylon is America, if you can receive it. So the least of the flock will bring Babylon out. All right. And we know that's not ancient Babylon, because what least of the flock brought Babylon out to a war to eventually be destroyed? Hasn't happened yet. Because when we go to verse 46, it says, at the noise of the taking of Babylon. See, and just like Elder Apostle Tahar say, in the ancient world, Babylon was taken over by a surgical strike. All right. What's the name, by the Persian Medians. Okay, they the elite class was taken out and they just took it over. It wasn't no great besiege of a city or anything like that. Okay, so it says, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved. You see, that didn't happen, and this is talking about literal. Okay, because in Revelation it talks about the great earthquake. How is that great earthquake happened? Through missiles peltering America, man. Okay, this is why it says 200 million warheads, right? What is that? Revelation 9 is going to hit America, and the brute force of these kilotons, megatons, whatever, that is going to be exploding all at the same time is going to cause such movement of the tectonic plates, all right, under the earth, all right, that is going to literally cause the earth to reel to and fro. Okay, so they talking about war with Iran's going to kill thousands. Thousands is nothing. We're talking about what, if we're going to just talk about America, obviously hundreds of millions, but as far as the world goes, it's going to be in the billions. Okay, but if we're specifically keeping with America, America has almost now 360, 370 million people. All right, literally a good 95, 98% people is going to be dying in America. The rest is going to be of the elect. All right, and they're going to be Israelites. Only Israelites is making it up out of here. Period. Okay, so when America go to war with Iran, because of the ally, or should we say the tether of the Amalekites, all right, in that sliver of land, the state of who tries to reel them in, which they're going to get reeled in because they're all controlled by the Rothschilds, so on and so forth. This is going to cause all these other allied nations to come into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Let's go and get that real quick in the book of Joel. All right, and then we'll get probably one or two more, and then we're going to close out. That was pretty much the point. You know what I mean? And then, of course, none of this is going to happen until the mark of the beast is pushed. We have to remember that constantly, which is the RFID chip. This is Joel chapter 3, all right, verse 11. It says, assemble yourselves. See, that's what the Lord is doing. The Lord is assembling. This is why I titled this video. All right, the Lord is literally setting up this third woe stage. The third woe is World War III, the war to end all wars. All right, the wars of old, as it speaks of in Isaiah, was of noise and warriors on the battlefield, so to speak, fighting against each other. But the next one is going to be fuel of fire. That fuel of fire is going to be the nuclear fission, all right, of the elements that make up life, atoms and the nucleus and the protons and the electrons, that's going to be split, anti-life, okay, invented by your Oppenheimers and things of that nature to cause such an eruption of energy, you know what I'm saying, through their left-handed understandings and wisdom, all right, to destroy mass amounts of people at a drop of a dime. Okay. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, non-Israelites, and gather yourselves together round about what? The deserts of Arabia. Okay, the valley of Yahweh-Shaphat. All right, it says, thither cause thy mighty ones, so your infantry, to come down. To come down where? To the valley of Jehoshaphat. Because notice it says valley. A valley is a low place. Okay. It says, let the heathen be wakened. Right. So instead of being in a place where they're like, yo, we don't want to fight, they're going to get that spirit. They're going to be quickened, on a military type understanding. They're going to be wakened, all right, to actually go to war and fight. It says, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the Lord is bringing them together to judge them. Okay, so that's a great understanding of why all of this is happening. Why is World War III happening if you just coming into the truth? Because the Lord is about to judge these people. Why is he about to judge them? Okay, that's when you go to the beginning of the chapter, verses 1 through 7. Okay, because of all the things that they have done unto Judah and Israel. All right, the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. All right, all these nations, man. All right, going into Psalms 83, they try to blot us out. This is how you know the Lord loves his people, man. Okay, just like he did in Egypt. He destroyed and killed the firstborns of all these the heathen nation, uh, um, Matazarium, all right, Egypt, Kemet, whatever, all right, he killed all the firstborn as a ransom, all right, to bring out Israel, man. So he's going to be doing the same thing in regards to his love for specifically first the elect of Israel, all right, by destroying putting vengeance, all right, back on the heathen nations, so that the elect of Israel can be delivered from their captivity because they had faith on Yahweh Shai. All right. So I'm gonna end off in let's go to there's actually a good in Jeremiah again, talking about the harvest. I don't know why that's coming to my mind right now. Let's see if we can find it. Ooh, Salakia. Yeah, let's go to Jeremiah 50 and start at verse 33. It says, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel, the northern kingdom, and the children of Judah, the southern kingdom, were oppressed together. So the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American was oppressed in America, together, the same. And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. They refused to bring us out under this contractual slavery that we're in now into the international banking families. Their Redeemer is strong. That's Yahweh. The Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead. Another word for plead is judge their cause. All right. Our cause is that we're Israelites and we're the people that the Lord is dealing with, and only us. Okay. And the Lord is going to prove that. Okay. With the actions that he's about to do. It says that he may give rest to the land. And remember, Jerusalem was a people before it was a land or a place. And we're looking for rest. All right. It happened first with having faith on Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai said, all ye that are laden with sins, all right, come unto me and I shall give thee rest, man. Roughly paraphrasing. All right. And then eventually is going to be fully embodied with the kingdom. Okay. A true Sabbath. All right. It says, and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. Exactly. You see? So I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Don't want to make this too long. We can even go down to verse 40. It says, as God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. So America's going to be fully destroyed, just like Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, which was by fire and brimstone. And this fire and brimstone is really going to be constructed through the chemistry, the nuclear physics regarding, these bombs, man, these missiles. All right. So, Lord willing, man, I was edifying to the elect as we constantly hearing more rumors of wars as Yahweh Shah prophesied. We know that the end is coming. We know that his return is coming back. And we know what prophecies have to come before he comes back, because he told us so. All right, so with that, I'm going to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Amashiach, Yahweh Shah. Call Yahweh Shah on to the next one. Shalom.